is Christina Oslabang, and I am the author of ANDEANsolrocks, Pathway of Light. It's a book that I produced with my friend Paola that I met in Peru, and it comes with 22 stones and a deck of cards to play a game about ourselves. The reason I'm making this video is because in 2008 when we printed the book, it came like this. I'll show it to you. It has the stones with a deck of cards and a little bag that Paola's family made 10,000 of. It was a very, very big project, and we started this in 2005 early and ended it with the book being produced in 2008. The reason I'm making the video is because I made a video with Paola in 2008, but we just printed the book, so we didn't really know how to play it. And I found that through so many people who've been buying it and walking this pathway of light with the stones, there's been many, many questions. And so today I just kind of wanted to give you a brief idea of how to play this game and what each one of these worlds means. The game, it has 22 stones. 22 symbols are on these stones that come from Peru. They all represent an intention or an idea. And when we play the game, the stones drop and they describe the worlds of what the Peruvian culture believes is to be true for them. I feel like I am just a messenger of something that came through, and I'm here to present it to the United States and to the people here in the North America. Paola is selling them in Puno, and they are selling also in Lima and Cusco. So to just give a brief explanation of what the culture is about, is that they believe, the Peruvians believe that we have three worlds that exist in one human body. In that human body, it's not talking about the light that lives within us, or the energy source, or the soul, or whatever name you want to put to the body that makes it work. I was a hospice nurse for many years, and I kind of understand now how spirit and body work joined together in walking this walk. So for the three worlds in one, it deals only with the human body. The one that I like the best is called Ukupacha. It's on the bottom, and it's when you're playing the game, the stones will drop, and you'll put one on the bottom, you put the other one in the middle, and you put another one on the top. And they represent the three worlds with the symbol for that world. The one on the bottom, Ukupacha, has to do with our past, and this is the part I'm having a lot of people asking me questions about, so I kind of wanted to explain it. The part is that when we were 8 years old, or 10 years old, or 15 years old, things happened to us in our past, and a lot of us have put closed doors to it, and it's become in the dark. And if we ever tell that story, we tell the story exactly the same way that we told it to ourselves when we were 8 and 10 and 15. So that maybe it was your father who was an alcoholic and he used to hit you, and now you're a 50-year-old man that is an alcoholic and you treat your children the same way. And a lot of that justification comes from what happened to you as a child. Well, the Peruvians believe you don't have to carry this. You don't have to have this way of living that something that happens to you when you're 10 continues on and then justifies who you are when you're 50. So what Ukupacha is that you look at something that happened to you when you were 8, or something that happened to you when you were 10, or however, whenever it was in your lifetime, and you see the perspective of who you were when you were a child. And remember, the person who is helping you to look at this place that you didn't want to ever look at is the being that you are now. You survived it. Whatever happened, you survived it. So to be able to go back and look at it and see the perspective that you were and what happened then, and then be able to leave it there, is the freedom of not carrying your past and not having a history that haunts you. It's not giving up your history, it's just changing the perspective of what happened. Because if you think something happened when you were 8 and you say the same thing when you're 50, then you've never moved that. That's never left you. And the Peruvians believe that we don't have to carry that. We live it, we incorporate it into our bodies, and then we let it go. So that's the underworld. There's a middle world called the physical world, and this is easy because the stone ends in the middle for your play. It's all about what's going on today. Your physical world, your DNA, your genetics, who you talk to, your job, your children, everything that you come in contact with in the physical world. That reading or that world is the middle world for them, physical. And then there's the top world, which is the Hanan Pacha, and that is where it's your values and your belief system and your the way you think about religion. Not the light, it's how your mind works. And what I know from being a hospice nurse is that when you die, your mind dies with you. So those are the thoughts that they're talking about changing or moving or shifting. And so when you're playing this game, the game of the three worlds, it is absolutely Peruvian in its undertaking, and that it applies to you because the symbols all have an intention and they would be specific to this world. I was also, when I first started writing the book, I only had that concept down about their culture. And then the thing that changed a little bit was that somebody asked me if they could drop one stone. And when they dropped one stone, it was exactly the answer that they had asked. And so there's something called the first intention in the book. And then I played with my aunt for a couple of years before I wrote this book. And we kept finding out that every time we would play this game, 80% of the time a fourth stone would drop out, or a fourth and fifth stone. And so when I was writing the book, there's the three worlds in one, and then there's a fourth or fifth stone that drops, and you just look on the last part of the chapter and you would see that there's a place called the fourth magic stone of the future, and then that's what you would read for that position. So there's only two ways of playing this game. One of them is you ask a question of the universe and you read it in the book for the first intention. And then the second way is where you have the three worlds in one and sometimes the fourth magic stone of the future. So I just finished describing how to play the game of ANDEANsolrocks, having to do with Uku Pacha on the bottom, Kai Pacha in the middle, Hanan Pacha on the top. And that's the world, the three worlds in one of the Peruvians. What I wanted to explain a little bit of is that I've had many, many people playing this game. It's getting so exciting. People are writing to me from New Zealand and from Australia, from England, and around America, Peru, Brazil, and most of them are understanding it, but it seems like there's a couple of points that I would like to just address today on this video because they keep coming up. One of them has to do with the pathway of light. People are asking me how I decide where I'm going to move in the world, how I'm going to walk this path. And what I've noticed is that it seems to me that there's a bunch of open doors that are like showing themselves to me. Like if I feel like I need to get a job, well then I'll go and I'll apply at a bunch of different jobs, and then one will open up and it'll have an open door for that job. So I'll take that movement towards that. But if it closes, it doesn't mean that I'm a lousy person or that I failed in that interview. It means that that's not the job for me. And to continue looking until there's another open door, and then you walk through that one, and then that might happen for you. Or it might happen that there's all these closed doors, and then it gives you an idea that you don't even go in that direction. You choose a different direction. So pathway of light to me is step by step, understanding who we are as a whole human being, almost every moment of the day, using compassion and love and kindness as our guides, and giving, just giving to ourselves and giving to the world love. That's the primary goal, I think, for us as human beings. So that would be one point. Another one I found is that people are asking me about when I write about rebirth, or living a life where there's many, many lives in this one lifetime. And to explain that is, let's say for me, when I was young, I was a little girl, I became a teenager, I became a mother, I am now a grandmother, and those are all different roles that I've played. I've also had different jobs. As a cocktail waitress, I've been a hospice nurse, so there's many things that come all together that make us as one human being now. But those are different lives. I mean, we've had different perspectives and different ideas of what was right and wrong the whole time we've been growing up and changing. So when I refer to rebirth, it's not rebirth where your body dies and then you're born again. It is where you die to the perceptions that you've had because you've changed. And then you have new perceptions and new ways of looking at yourself. And the one that I keep pointing to in the book is to have compassion for yourself. The perception is that we have been beating ourselves up through this life and finding ourselves as failures or not good enough or not valuing the things that are really important. Family, love, being good to each other. And so I find that with this pathway of light, when I talk about rebirth, it's more of leaving the things that are condescending and put us down, and really understanding that we aren't that that's just things that we used to think about ourselves. But now we are changing, and that to me is rebirth. There's a quote somewhere, I think it's by Richard Bach, saying that what the what is it? How does it go? Something about what the caterpillar calls the end of the world, the Creator calls the butterfly. When the caterpillar goes into that cocoon, it dies to its old ways, and when it emerges, it doesn't remember that it was a caterpillar. It's a butterfly now. And the glory about us knowing this as human beings is that we get to remember being the caterpillar, and we all get to experience again the idea of a butterfly. So those two concepts are something that I wanted to clear up. And then I think we're going to try to do another video to explain how to play the game using the rocks. So thank you today for this one, because I just really wanted to share with you the life that I've been living for the last 4 years since we produced this book. Thank you. Pachamama blessings. Hi, my name is Christina Osla-Bang, and I am the author and the creator of this book. It's called ANDEANsolrocks, and when it comes in a package, it comes in this package. And it was produced in Lima. We had some very young people that decided that they really wanted to help us do this, because anybody will produce a book, but to produce a book that comes with 22 stones, like this, with 22 stones and a book, and then a little pouch that goes with it, is how it is in Peru. When it got to the United States in November 2010, Homeland Security really wanted to go through it, and when they found it to be clean, they set it free on November 3rd. And I had many people who wanted to start buying this, and but I knew it wasn't finished yet. So the way it's selling in Peru is like this. It has the book, the 22 stones, and the bag. When it got to the United States, I decided I needed to paint and make a deck of cards. And so it comes like this in the book. And what it is 22 oil paintings that I made, and we played it with a deck of cards. And so in the United States, it's played a little differently than the one video that we made in 2008. So just to let you know how this book works is that when you play the game, you put the stones into your hand. There's 22 stones, and you put them into your hands, and they will drop. And sometimes they really want to see that one just drop, so I put that one to the bottom, and then another one will drop, and we'll put that one to the middle, and then another one will drop, and we'll put that one to the top. And they are representing the three worlds that the Peruvians believe are what we are made of as human beings. And so we would put them in the pouch, and sometimes putting them away, one stone will drop out, or at the very end, the last stone, maybe 2 stones would drop out. This time it didn't, so we have the 3 stones with the 3 worlds. The way it works in the United States now with these is that I would put the card that belongs to them. Every one of these cards has a picture on the back of it describing the same thing as the drawing on the stone. And so what I've found is that by putting a visual to it, it ends up being more of a portal that I'm not sure how it really works. These things, it's kind of eerie the way these stones have their own voice. 500 years ago, there was a prophecy in Peru that said that for 500 years the stones would be silent. And then after that, they would find their voice. And there is a voice now, and it's being heard around the world. It's called Pachamama.org, or Pachamama, and this book is dedicated to Pachamama, which means Mother Earth. So I put the stones on top of the picture and put them aside. And then if I was to read the book to understand what this all means to me or to you, you would open up, let's say we want to do the bottom one first, which would be the world of Ukupacha. It's the underworld, it's the emotional world, the world that we have had from our past and that we carry with us, and we hope that we can release the pain and the suffering that comes from that world and live a much freer life as a human being now, whatever age we are. So the bottom one has to do with creativity, because the picture is water. So you would see the picture on the stone and you would match it up to the picture in the book, and you would say, okay, I see that page is number 79. The book is very, very consistent in that it has 22 chapters, of which every chapter is the same except for the 22nd one. This chapter would start off with some quotes, and the quotes aren't Peruvian, the quotes are from around the world. And then it would, the book also will explain to you what that symbol means, water, what it means in Peru. And then it would show you, if you were going to play the one stone drop, it would be right here. But since we're playing 3 worlds in one, there's this page that what you can see is on the very bottom here is the wave. On the very bottom of this page, it has the wave symbol at the top, is what we would be reading. And it has to do with your emotional world. I'm not going to read it because it takes so long, but just to let you know that water is about creativity, and that we have 80% of our bodies are water, and the words we put to water. Dr. Emoto did a study that if you crystallize water that has words on it, for instance, hate or love or kindness, that the crystals respond to the word. And so it proves to us as human beings that the words we say to each other, the words we say to ourselves, they go into our body, and water is the creativity part that we end up living those words. And so you would read this part, the emotional part, the underworld, if this is what happened in your spread today. The next one would be the physical world, and the physical world, which I got today, was a hummingbird, and the hummingbird stands for love in Peru. And the quote would be, this is by Dalai Lama, "If you want others to be happy, practice compassion. If you want to be happy, practice compassion." That's pretty much the foundation for this book, is compassion and love. And so for me to have pulled compassion in the physical world today, I would turn the page, and I would find the page with the hummingbird, and then in the middle world is called the physical world. And just to give you a sentence, love in the physical refers to relationships based on interconnections to each other and within yourself. Create space to be quiet. So it's teaching what you would do if you were to get love in the physical world today, how you would use that to understand and actually go forward with it. And then the third one is I ended up getting the Lama stone. And the Lama stands for service. And I got service in the spiritual world, which kind of wonder how that would work. Martin Luther King has a quote in this one for Lama, and it says, "Everybody can be great because anybody can serve. You don't have to have a college degree to serve. You don't have to make your subject and verb agree to serve. You only need a heart full of grace and a soul generated by love." Martin Luther King Jr. So he's the quote that pretty much tells you the intention for Lama in your life today in the spiritual world. So here's the Lama symbol, and here's the spiritual world. And it says, when you receive the Lama stone in your spiritual world, it comes with a message that service is prayer received and given. And it explains to you a little bit more. So what you would do with this spread that I got today, it would show to you that as a human being today, the things that I need to focus on is I need to learn to be more creative in changing my past and looking at how my emotions really guide me. And that in the physical world, that I need to show compassion for myself and to others and love. And then in the spiritual world, to know that service is about prayer and answers and how you give, and then that creates a meaning for you spiritually. So that's the game that I played today, and every day I've played it differently, and it comes up different, and sometimes you'll get the same stones in the same position, and you'll, whoa, what is that? It seems to mark that you are supposedly going through some period that just continues to show you the same lesson over and over again until you get it. Pachamama, the Mother Earth that we all stand on, there's another story in Peru that if you take your problems to Mother Earth and you lay down your heavy energies to her, that her not even a reward, she just gives you abundance. And when I did that in 2005, I went to the island called Amantani in the middle of Lake Titicaca, and I walked up the steep, steep path and got to the temple of the mother and laid down flowers to her and told her how sad I was about some of the things that had happened in my life. And then I went and flew my kite, because I love to fly kites. And after that, my life has been this pathway of light. It has changed. She has given me abundance. I feel like I've been one of the most blessed creatures on this earth because of the pathway that I ended up walking into when I was in Peru. And the thing that I want to share with you today about that part is that you don't have to go to the island in the middle of Lake Titicaca to do this. You can go out to Tubbs Hill. You can go out to the mountain that's by your house. You can go into your garden. And you can lay down your heavy energies to the Mother Earth and know that her reward to you would be abundance. And I just wish you all well in playing this game. If you happen to get it and you have any questions for me, I am on a website called ANDEANsolrocks.com, and I also have another one called SacredHealingStones.com, and that one shows paintings that I've been making ever since I got this book. Thank you so much for even having an interest in this, and I hope that this helps. If you have any questions, please write to me. Thank you. Pachamama blessings to you.
Su